sorry.
Now we're ready.
Okay, I'm calling the meeting to order at 6:43 p.m. Our president mayors will be here very shortly, but let's begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all. If Trustee Warner's watching playback, if he could mute somehow, if we could, I don't know how to do that, Mr. Johnson, if he's watching playback as well.
Just ask him if he's watching
Just 'cause of the
YouTube
lid.
or not.
Okay. Ms. Pineda, are there any public comments this evening? No public comments this evening. Okay. We're going to skip down to item C4, committee reports. Rather than giving full reports right now, those who don't have a report but just have a meeting announcement date, let's do those in the hopes that President Mayor's arrive soon. First one is the audit committee. That is me. The audit committee does not have a date set yet. We are waiting on the initial report of the internal audit for the current school year. We hope to have the initial report sometime in April, fingers crossed, at which time we will decide what the intensive review will be. So TBD on that date. Just for committee meeting announcement purposes, Trustee Warner, I'm going to skip the CEC and jump to the combined CE Community Engagement and Finance Committee meeting, which is scheduled for tomorrow, Wednesday, March 11th at 7 p.m. in the R.J. Bailey Library. All are welcome. There is also a Zoom link available on the district calendar. If there is a report, that will be given later once we come back to this section of the agenda. The Education Committee is also chaired by me. That will be next Thursday, March 19th at 7 p.m. in the Woodlands Middle High School Innovation Lab. And trying to pull up my draft agenda. The topic will be the middle of the year reports from iReady and the Aperture SEL survey results, with some topics around both of those. I'd also like to put in a slight plug for Wednesday, March 18th. There is a Parent University, which is happening at 6 p.m. at the Woodlands Middle High School Innovation Lab. The topic will be Pathways to Graduation, College, and Careers. All are welcome to attend. Continuing our theme of committee meeting announcements only, the Governance and Policy Committee will meet on Monday, March 16th at 6:30 p.m. in the Woodlands Middle High School Little Theater. And we will now come back to the committee reports for full reports from other committees at a later point in the evening. I will turn the meeting over to President Mayers and make a note that we are now on item B2, Superintendent's Proposed Budget.
Wonderful, great place to come in. Excuse my lateness. Item B2, Superintendent's Proposed Budget. That would be you, Dr. Chisholm. I'm going to turn the meeting over to you.
Excellent, thank you. I'll wait for us to queue up our budget presentation here for the viewers. But just to get started, welcoming everyone to the formal presentation of our proposed budget for the upcoming 2026-2027 academic school year. This budget is a result of extensive collaboration and really represents our commitment to our students and our community, our school community. Thank you. So again, our theme, our identity and strategic focus. Our work is really grounded in our vision to be a high-performing district that prepares students to be global citizens. And to achieve this, we are focused on our 4 SOAR pillars: student success, operational excellence, attracting top talent, and responsive relationships, and how that all culminates together towards how we decide what the district prioritizes and how our priorities are then played out into our budget. So we approach every financial decision with a clear set of beliefs. Most importantly, all the decisions must pass through the filter of students first. We are also committed to supporting the professional needs of our staff and ensuring every dollar aligns with our district strategic plan. So again, I know these slides look familiar. We do want to be consistent so that our communication is also consistent. And so when it comes to the budget decision-making process, our recommendations are not arbitrary. We do use a consistent lens that balances fiscal stewardship and equity and access. We must meet our legal obligations and compliance requirements while maintaining and remaining responsible to our taxpayers. So our strategic plan alignment from vision to investment. This budget is the financial expression of our strategic plan. Our goals, ranging from infrastructure to maintaining a premier workforce, are building blocks to ensure our students meet the standards of our IB student profile. We are also investing in instructional staff, SEL resources, social emotional learning, SEL resources, and technology to maintain this alignment. So the next slide speaks to those major drivers of the 2026-2027 budget. So it's important for us to really understand what is driving our costs for the upcoming school year. And some of those key factors include contractual salary obligations, benefit and insurance increases, those mandated student programs such as our students with disabilities, ELL services for our multilingual learners, as well as rising transportation costs. In addition to that, things like utilities and ongoing employee contract negotiations. So now I will turn it over to Ms. Merrill.
Good evening, everyone. Before we get going, the first thing I want to talk about is our budget development process that we went through internally. So back probably the end of December, beginning of January, we started meeting with all of our building leaders to gather their needs and wants. So some of the things you're going to see in the budget came from those meetings with our particular building leaders. So the first slide we're going to talk about is the additions that we are proposing for the 26-27 budget. We are proposing 4 building-based substitute teachers, 3 security aides, 2 custodial staff, and 1 security coordinator. A lot of these needs have to do with the fact that we don't have a very solid substitute list here in the district. So sometimes we struggle on a day-to-day basis with absences and filling vacancies and things of that nature. We'd also like to talk about some reductions or reallocations in the 2026-2027 budget. I want to start off by saying that these positions are currently vacant, so they wouldn't affect any actual employees. We are looking at a reduction of 1 music teacher. That would be combining, splitting a music teacher between 2 of the elementary schools that currently also split an art teacher, I believe. We would be looking to reduce a 0.5 part-time clerk position, which has actually been vacant most of this school year. It's the records management position. And then we're looking for some cost savings with our retirements that are scheduled to go out. What we do when we're building the budget is we look for breakage. So breakage would be the difference between the employee that is retiring and the new hire that would be coming in. We look for cost savings there to take those funds and use them in other areas within our budget. All right, so we're going to move on to the property tax cap. So here we're going to look at our total property tax cap that's being proposed is 3.57%. What you see on this screen is It's important to note that simple majority, the maximum tax cap we could go up to stay under the 2% tax cap would be 6.14%. We are proposing staying far below that at 3.57. On the left-hand side of the screen, what you see is the actual tax levy for 25-26, which was last year, the 25-26 budget was 4.06%. So going across the top, you could see that this would bring us to a total tax levy of $72,250,599. That is increased from 25-26 of $69,758,625. So this is the actual expenditures that are going to be totaling up to our total budget of $87,773,325. It's a total change from the 25-26 budget to 26-27 of 3.56%. This slide breaks down the different categories. It's categorical, and we see that in our budget, the two largest portions are salaries and benefits. Then we have our equipment code. We have supplies and textbooks. We have contractual services, our debt service, and our interfund transfers. That comprises our federal transfer, which is to help support our summer programs, and things like Head Start. We do have a percentage in Head Start that we have to contribute towards, and also our capital interfund transfer. So
What's
here,
going on with BOCES?
do you want me to answer questions now or at the end of the presentation? Okay, I'll answer those questions at the end of the
Are
presentation.
you okay to wait, trustee Warner?
Great, I can wait.
Thank you.
He's scared.
I'm calling you
Just a
first.
mystery voice.
I'm calling you first.
Sorry, it scared me for a minute. Okay. Okay, you threw me off my game here. All right. Here's our capital interfund transfer, totaling $514,348. This has been noted in our external audit for the past 2 years. These are capital projects that were overexpended, they were over budget, and basically what we need to do when that happens is our general fund has to make these accounts whole. So we are proposing taking care of it this year in our 26-27 budget, and listed on this slide are the 4 different projects that have been noted with the dollar amounts for each one of those projects, totaling $514,348. This slide is our revenue budget. So the first thing that you'll notice is that whenever you're building a budget, your expenditures and your revenues need to be balanced. So the revenue budget is totaling $87,773,325. That's balanced with our current expenditure budget. On this slide, you can see that the real property taxes, that is the bulk of our revenue. And with our tax levy at 3.57%, that would bring in $72,250,599. That is an increase of $2.491974 million from our current tax levy. We do have pilots that we receive revenue from. You will notice that there is a decrease on this slide, and that is because one of the 3 pilots that we currently have is going to be, this is the last year that they will be a pilot, and they will be going back on the tax roll effective 26-27. We receive sales tax from the county, and tuition. Tuition encompasses tuition from out-of-district students, and also our health services that we bill other districts for. We receive interest earnings from some of our high interest yield savings accounts that we have, and state aid is a large portion of our revenue as well. Other revenues that we have They include various things such as rental fees. Hang on, I actually wrote some of them down here. So we have rental of real property, we have insurance recoveries, refund of prior year expenses, we get a refund of BOCE services, Medicaid and unclassified revenue as well. Unclassified revenue could be something similar to donations, different things that come in. So they all fall under the other revenue section of the total revenue. So next we're going to talk about how our tax levy is going to impact the taxpayers. Again, our tax levy is 3.57%, which is a total of $72,250,599. The total assessment, town assessment, that we just received March 1st is coming in at $5,269,330,456. That is a reduction, as you can see on this slide, from the 2025 year. When I reached out to the town, they explained that that reduction is the result of people's property being reassessed. So this is how we calculate the tax rate. You basically take the total town assessment divided by the tax levy. So we're looking in 2026, 2027 of having a tax rate of $13.71 per 1,000 of somebody's property value. In the town of Greenberg, the single family home assessment is currently $744,502. That comes out to $744.50 per 1,000, and for a property owner that had a tax bill of about $744,000, their property value, their tax bill would be roughly $10,208.26. We do see that that is an increase of about $849 from 2025. So we'd like to talk a little bit about what the benefits of funding your school's budget is. One of the main things that we have is stronger outcomes. So why is the investment necessary? Strong schools lead to stronger student outcomes, more diverse opportunities, and helps bridge the achievement gap. Furthermore, great schools attract families and businesses and drive community growth. So it is important, the community does benefit from those that support and fund the school district's budget. To talk a little bit about the next steps in our 26-27 budget development, tomorrow, March 11th, we do have a budget workshop at RJB Library, 7 p.m., correct? Okay.
Yes.
We also are having a budget workshop on Saturday, March 14th. That's this coming Saturday. It will be at RJB. We will be a guest at the PTA meeting. Our next board presentation will be on Wednesday, March 25th. And what we're looking to hope to come out of today's presentation is some direction and recommendations from the Board of Education. This is a timeline of all of our future meetings that we have scheduled. It's very important for the community to know that your voice does matter. We'd like you to join us at any of our budget presentations or workshops to give us feedback and recommendations on what you would like to see in your school district's budget. And I want to just remind everybody that our budget vote for 26-27 will be coming up on Tuesday, May 19th. 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. It will be here at the Woodlands Middle High School Gymnasium at 475 West Hartsdale Avenue, Hartsdale, New York. If anybody has any questions or comments, anything, we do have an email that we would like you to email, and it is budget@greenbergcsd.org. Just a couple other things that I'd like to mention. Out in board docs, we have put 2 presentations. One is Spanish-English and one is 100% Spanish for anybody who would like to go out there and view the presentation in Spanish. It is in board docs. Probably tomorrow or the next day. It will also be on the budget webpage on the school district's website. Oops, sorry, I went the wrong way.
Okay,
All right, that concludes, and we're open for questions.
thank you. We're gonna turn to trustee Warner first.
My question was, I saw a BOCES increase of 12.29%. So I'm wondering what's changed?
Yep, that's fine. The main thing that has changed, well, really, the bulk of it, obviously from year to year, we do have an increase with BOCES every year. But in addition to that, we had the need to increase our special education BOCE codes because we do have increased enrollment for BOCES. So we have a total of 4 new placements in our private schools, and we have a total of a total of 11 students, an additional 2 students receiving related services. So these numbers are increased from the 25-26 budget. So we had to actually increase the BOCES special education codes to be able to accommodate that.
Okay.
Hold on, I think there's a follow-up, trustee Warner, before you change topic.
Sorry, you said the 4 new placements at private schools, why would that be in BOCES if they're not in
Out of placement, out of district placements.
They're out of district placements, but they get billed out through, that's not the BOCES code, that's a 2250 code, you are correct. The BOCES special ed code, which is 2250-494, that code we do have a large increase
So
of
going
over
back to trustee Warner's-
$200,000.
So going back to trustee Warner's original question, can you tell us what's being added to the BOCES codes
Is
to
it-
account for that increase?
Absolutely, there was $200,000 added to that specific code for increased enrollment.
In BOCES
BOCES?
programs?
BOCES
BOCES
programs.
special
BOCES
education
programs.
programs?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
So like BOCES has programs that can also address certain needs that students may have. And so we're saying there's an increased amount of students that need to utilize those programs.
Yes, and
Okay.
what's important to note is even within this particular year, as we wait for placement of students,
Okay,
that should also be considered in a budget.
What do you mean?
So for example, you're seeking to place a student, but there are not spots there, but the child has been identified to be placed. So as they wait, you should be considering that as part of your budget, which this year we did not. So this year, we had to identify other funds to fund the BOCES line because there were students who required services, as an
So-
example.
why are we considering a budget for someone who's on a wait list?
Because it's going to happen during that year.
Okay,
So we expect it will happen, and because we don't know when it's gonna happen, we
Right.
have to be prepared
Right.
for it. So that's just one example of it.
So just to put the button on the original question, so that's 200 of this 490 increase?
That's correct.
200. Okay, gotcha.
And then, like I said, BOCES, they do increase every year, typically around 3%.
okay, sorry, trustee Warner, did you have more questions?
I guess I wanted to go back to the list of new FTEs and find out about the security coordinator. What will be the role of the security coordinator?
So what we first see is the role of the security coordinator, and we're still assessing as well. But the support, right now, we don't have anyone that, that really leads the security monitors and security aides. And so the security coordinator would really be the one to help with identifying the training that they might need, identifying their placements, their scheduling. Right now, Ms. Merrill's, the business official, is taking the calls for those that might call out and then reallocating. Right now, we're pulling from the high school when someone calls out at one of the elementaries or the intermediate school to pull them over to that building. So we need someone to kind of help to coordinate that and work with those individuals.
And
And
the
honestly, that
custodial
coordinator-
staff, there are 2 additional places. Where will they be assigned?
So they would be assigned here. The thought around that too is that security coordinator could also be helping to support as a floater in the district too. So if they're called and have to do something, they'll still be working. So those are some things that we're putting out there in terms of the coordinator.
And I think I know why you have security aides, because you have an absentee rate, and you're making up for it by increasing headcount. That's probably not very expensive. And substitute teachers, I understand that it works better if you have substitute teachers. We tried both systems where you just have a list and call people in, and people who are in regularly, and it's better. So I understand that. Okay, I'm done.
Any other trustees have any questions? Yes, trustee Jacobson.
I'm just expressing some concern around the elimination of the full-time music teacher position. I'm always one to champion the arts, and I find that they enhance all of the other core curriculum classes as well. And I understand that typically, like right now, we split an art teacher between the 2 elementary schools. I would argue for a full-time art teacher in both schools. I think we lose a lot when we have someone moving back and forth between the buildings. And I think, especially if we're looking at SEL, if we're looking at ways to enhance our community outreach and bringing people in, like we have the IB Art Show coming up this week. I think that's a beautiful example of how the arts can show IB in a beautiful way to our community. And I think when you have a teacher splitting their time between 2 schools like that, you lose a lot of community building even within the building. And I would argue that that is a valuable position that we should try to figure out a way to keep. And maybe that means decreasing some of the numbers in the additions and finding the funding for that.
I'm going to second what you have to say, trustee Jacobson. I think that all of our students learn in different ways, and the math and the ELA is only one way to measure a student's development, and I think the arts should also stay. I do think we need art in both buildings, individual 1.0 as well as a music teacher in both elementary buildings, meaning Jackson and Highview. I think it can only help the students. I mean, there's a major surge in depression and emotional instability amongst children in general, and the arts helps with that, helps children to express themselves, helps children to feel better about themselves, and I think that we should commit to having that in elementary school. So I'm going to second what you have to say. Next was trustee Long and trustee Dowling. Oh, I'm sorry.
I just want to ask for a data piece about the music and art teacher. Could we could you guys share with us, please, a typical schedule at Jackson and Highview, so we can see how a child steps through the different pieces of curriculum during the week? Thank you.
That was all your questions? Sorry, trustee Long?
I have a couple of questions. And so I want to start on the impact to taxpayers slide. And you may not be able to answer this, but if you could perhaps ask a question or two. The number that the assessment per town has given shows a minimal decrease, and yet the average single-family home assessment shows a 5% increase. It seems to me those two numbers are incompatible, and I would like to understand a little more from the town how they came across these.
Absolutely, I can reach out again. I will tell you the numbers were confirmed with the town, so these are the numbers we're being given. I agree with you that at first glance, like, how can the total town assessment go down? but the single-family assessment
Go up
went up quite a bit,
quite a
like
bit.
almost $40,000.
Yeah,
So I will reach out again.
okay, thank you.
Commercial real estate would be on the decline because everybody's, getting things delivered to their house by trucks. Right?
It's,
Whereas single-family homes retain their value. I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, well, it's Greenberg's not that big,
Go ahead and
so.
check, but yeah.
My next question is 2 slides earlier, the revenue budget slide. And it is regarding the interest earnings.
Yes.
You're showing a 25% projected increase. How confident are you in that number and given the world situation today?
So I based my number off of the fact of what our actual earnings were this year. And over the last several months, the rates have pretty much stabilized a little bit. We've stayed between 3.48 and 3.57 in our high yield savings account. We are probably going to reach this amount that I'm budgeting for next year by the end of this year. So I did feel that we could actually do it.
So it's really potentially not an increase, it would be staying even on our actual versus.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
It looks as an increase though, because last year was
Was
budgeted at 1
budgeted
million,
lower. Yeah.
or this
So,
year.
so are those items locked in through December 2026? Is that what you mean by the end of this year? You mean the end of this year, 2026, or?
I'm talking about end of this year as far as June 30th.
So then that would be, so then the next 1.25.
So we
Which is
are
next
right
budget
now,
year.
as of
Yep.
last month, we were, I believe at almost $900,000 in interest earnings from July 1st
Right.
to the report that was given last month, which I believe was December to January.
Right, but that's out of the 1 million budgeted for the current year.
Right, so what I was
So-
saying was I feel that by June 30th, we will reach the 1.250 million.
So going back to Trustee Long's original question, budgeting a higher amount for next year, rates have stabilized, but they've
Rates-
also been lowered. And from my understanding, we're pulling monies out now to make some big payments. So will we have as much invested to make those earnings at potentially lower rates in the next budget year? Sorry to rephrase it, but
We'll be renewing our ban in May, so there will be additional monies coming into our account that we'll be earning interest on. So there are still monies coming in. Typically, we receive a lot of our revenue in March from state aid, and then again in, I believe it's June or September from BOCES. So we still have a lot of revenue that is coming in, and then once we reach the fall is when we start receiving our property tax payments.
I'm only looking at the interest earnings on stuff that is put into an escrow account until we have to make big payments next year. So just,
We try to put most of our money in the high yield savings account, and then we move it out as it's needed.
Okay.
I have one more. I have read recently that the teachers' retirement system lowered their recommendation for what we should be putting aside from 9.59 to 8.24. Did you cover that in the budget? And if yes, how did you cover that in the budget?
So when developing the budget, that is correct, TRS, their rate is being reduced from 9.59 to 8.24. And when we project salaries, we take the total salary amount. And again, we have 2 different retirement systems in our school district. We have ERS and we have TRS. So ERS, on the other hand, was increased. The good news is the bulk of our staff are in TRS. All of your teachers, your teaching assistants, your certified administrators. So that reduction was very helpful to offset the increase that we had to incur from our ERS staff. In addition, we have an increase with our health insurance every year. So it's a composite rate because we have active employees and we have retirees. So it's a composite rate of 8.7%, and that's a rate that's taken from the actives at 7.8% and our Medicare primary retirees of 9.9%. So the TRS reduction was very helpful for us. That is the bulk of our salaries, and the savings helped offset the other increases that we had.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, that's it. Trustee Allen?
Does anyone else have questions?
I was just going down the list. You're next.
No.
It's okay.
All right, fine. Okay. I'm gonna go, okay, first, I'd like to go back to the BOCES lines. No, where do I want to start? This is why I shouldn't go first. So the additional increases in the BOCES, I know we have some, let's call them medium-term projects that need to happen in the technical side, which may or may not fall under BOCES. Is that included in this BOCES increase, or are these increases just services? I know we've also been doing an evaluation of what we currently use for BOCES, what's going to continue, what will be reduced. Is this just increases in the services we currently receive, or are these additional things to account for some of those tech-driven?
The one project that is included in the BOCES increase, and the increase, is the fiber optic project. It is $35,000 a year for 4 years. I am told that that is a project that has been spoken about for several years. That would allow us to have, to expand our bandwidth and have Wi-Fi and different things down at the field, the new athletic field. We have a couple of COSERs that we are reducing, and the extra funds are able to come from those reductions.
Okay.
And, I mean, if you want to know more about the fiber optic project, I would probably defer to the Director of Technology. And she is here if you have any questions about that.
I do not have additional questions on that right now. Maybe others do.
I
Okay.
do want to share too that we are looking to go from trying to change some project scopes, which kind of offset things that we're already doing now currently, but utilizing BOCES for services that we currently have that we are not utilizing BOCES for. And so thinking about the return on investment around some of those things. So while it may be a slight increase, it's certainly not to the same extent as those other projects, but just keeping in mind that we are looking to some BOCES aidable services for the district.
It's always beneficial to use BOCES
Yes.
over outside vendors.
Well, yes and no. Sometimes the district has had experience with certain things, yes, certain things with BOCES that did not work well. And I want to ask a question, because I'm not sure. When we get the return, it's usually the next year, right?
Correct.
Do we have to, how do I say this?
Or 2 years later, depending on.
It depends. It comes like anywhere from 12 to 18 months. There's
Okay.
3 payments we receive from BOCES every
Okay.
year. I think one payment's in February, and the next one I don't know the exact months, but it's like February, June, July,
It's 3 times a
September.
year.
It's 3 times a year.
So they're paying us, is there someone auditing and paying attention to that payment to make sure we're getting the right amounts that we should be getting?
Well, they do provide us with a aidable analysis.
Okay.
Yes.
So
And in
each
the
time
last
they're coming.
finance committee meeting, we spent a lot of time going over the aidable analysis that BOCES provides to us.
Great, I'm not on that committee this year.
Feel free to join.
But, okay, so that's helpful to know, but it does come in the next year, so the.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, on a related note, not that I'm looking to increase necessarily, I'm just looking for us to be budgeting conservatively and ensure that we're not going to be going over our budget. When I look at the equipment and supply lines, I see there's 0% increase. Again, thinking of the world around us and how inflation is happening, I'm wondering if that's good enough. I'm also wondering, a related question, do we have in place, these are the lines where, for example, new classroom furniture would be paid out of. Do we have, and possibly Chromebooks, I'm not sure.
No.
That might come out of BOCES, okay. Do we have a, let's call it a replacement schedule? For a while, for the Chromebooks, we were saying we're gonna replace X amount per year because technology is being upgraded and we have a usage rate.
Are you
In a
referring-
similar vein, as far as furniture needs in the buildings, every year we hear, oh, this building needs this building needs that, and it seems to be a little haphazard. With our new administration, are we putting into place some sort of systematic way to do furniture changes in the buildings on a staggered basis over multiple years? Is that built
So
in here?
we asked for that
Since it's not a new thing?
before with other things as well, like a replacement schedule,
Mhm.
where you look at like the estimated length of usage of an item and everything on kind of a schedule. And you say, like, we bought these things this year, we should have to buy them again that year.
I don't believe we have a schedule, but I think a schedule sounds like a good idea.
We don't have one. What we've been trying to do is work a schedule around big projects that are happening, or big items like boiler systems, like those larger scale items that have been purchased that can either be repaired or when we need to have it, cost out to replace. And so we haven't done it at the granular level to think about furniture per se at this point in time. We're looking at like the bigger things that, and
I know
that's a
to
start.
avoid the in September or August, the
No,
conversation on, let's do some budget transfers, because suddenly we need this in this room, because now is the time for our building leaders to be doing that planning and to be having those conversations with you guys, and since it's a 0% increase, I would expect it either to be coming out of, we're not gonna buy this because we're gonna buy that,
Can I-
or
yeah,
a
can I answer
small
your other
plan.
questions?
Uh-huh.
So my first question is, are you referring to the equipment code as a whole, or were you referring to the BOCES equipment code?
No, I'm referring to the
Okay.
other, the non-BOCES.
So- The equipment code is a very restrictive code.
Equipment and supplies, I'm kind of combining the conversation.
All right,
because
well,
those-
we're gonna talk about equipment
Gotcha.
first. So equipment is very restrictive.
Yes.
You can't transfer in and out of equipment codes. You can move money from one equipment code to the other, but we try not to do that. There are a lot of items we can't buy with an equipment code. So anything, if the single item is under $500. So when you're talking about furniture, that applies to a lot of classroom furniture. So a student's chair is not gonna be $500. A student's desk might not be $500. A teacher's desk, on the other hand, probably would be able to come out of an equipment code. So basically, with the equipment code that you see, I feel that need to be increased. I think there are things that we can use from that equipment codes. I'll just with the items for at buildings. We're looking at an adaptive swing at the ECP playground. We're looking at several of the buildings needed new air conditioning units. They're window units, but I guess they're large, so they're quite costly. Some of the items would be the teacher desks that are not part of our science lab project. They would come out of there. We know that we all did agree to put a net for the soccer field. So there will be other things as well. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but I did feel that that number was appropriate for now, the supply code, I did not increase. And not because I didn't want to increase it, it was because we were capped out. So if through conversations, additional money does become available, I would like to put it in the supply code, because those are the type of monies that we would use for student desks and student chairs, microscopes, different things of that nature, that I do feel like we could use more money in that line. But to stay at a reasonable tax cap, we basically were maxed out with where we're at right now.
And so while there is no 3 or 5 year plan at this time for things like that, these things came out of the conversations, and not just with the building leaders coming in to meet with the central office, as well as the directors who may oversee like PE. So if there are things that we're seeing across the buildings that maybe it's a PE purchase at the district level, as opposed to each individual building doing it. So those are the things that came out of those individual meetings, not just with the buildings, but also with each department head in the district. So technology had to sit down and do the same thing. Athletics had to sit down and do the same thing. So that's how all of this came
Facilities,
about.
transportation, we met with all departments.
Trustee Long, did you have a?
Yes, but you answered my question. Was that part of the conversation with building
Yes,
leaders and the heads of?
Yes.
Yeah.
Another area that has been recognized for needing some updates and improvement are our 2 life skill classrooms.
That came up.
There's
In the
been,
middle high school.
yes, there's been some requests for that.
I mean, part of the reason I'm asking is because now I've been here for 5 years, I'm sure David's heard this for 18 years, Trustee Warner's heard this for 18 years, but, you know, every year, it seems like after the budget process, we suddenly hear, oh, we need this, oh,
Yeah.
we need that, and now is the time to plan for that. And
That
every year it's a
still
different
happens.
room, it's a different building, so I'm not trying to point out any particular group, because I've heard from many of you.
Do you have more questions?
Yeah, I could defer, but yes, I do, but we can move on to something else
Trustee
for now.
Sambalayo or Mans, do you have any questions?
I'm wondering something answered.
No? Okay,
Awesome.
okay.
Well, when you ask all the questions.
Except for trustee Mans.
Mine should be pretty straightforward. Going back to the music teacher, I can't remember, how long has that role been open? And how are the recruiting efforts there? I know we're going to job fairs and things like that, but have you guys seen an interest in that area at all?
So how long has the role been
I'd
open?
have to defer to Mr. Hancock.
I can look that up for you and give you that date. As for recruitment, we did have it posted on OLS. We did receive a number of applicants, and we also have been recruiting when we go to our job fairs. I will say that the job fairs that we've attended wouldn't have a certified music teacher attending, as it was a general job fair, but we did receive a number of applicants for the music teacher through OLS.
That's promising. So with that, is there still a particular reason why it ended up on the list as a reduction?
Yes,
There's
so-
an interest, right, so.
Yes, so that was done with analyzing our budget, seeing avenues where we could save and allocate, but also meeting with the school leadership and analyzing how well the sharing of the art position went. We received feedback that that went extremely well, and that is working in their schedule well, and that they felt, as well as administration, that that same type of format could work well with the music teacher, and that's why there was a unanimous decision to move forward from both the school as well as the administration to reduce that position.
Can I just piggyback off of that? I'm hoping, and it's hard because this is the first year, we have a different new administration that is really trucking forward and making some great strides in the district, but I'm hoping that at some point we could shift to also hearing from parents and getting feedback. Because what I'm hearing you say is that the feedback from the staff and administration was that the art was great and it worked. Feedback I've heard from parents for many, many years, when I was in elementary, parents that are in elementary that speak up now, is that it is not really, really great, that there can be a lot more that's done, that the art teacher was great, you know, the fact that she was in both buildings was wonderful, but there is more that can be done. You know, Greenberg is small, we have a lot of students that go out of district, families do multiple activities with other families that are out of district, whether private or parochial, and the amount of art, and the type of art that is done and explored with those avenues and the type of art that is done here in elementary is very different. There's a different level, there's a different amount of time that's able to be put in. So even just getting that feedback from the consumers themselves is very helpful. Hearing from the children about what else they would like to do, hearing from the families about what else they'd like to see would be great. I don't know if there was any feedback from the teacher who is retiring, but I understand that you know, it would be better if a teacher was dedicated to one building. I know sometimes there's not resources, but we can see due to the desire for additions that there are some resources. So if we could really put some work into supporting the arts in the elementary schools, that'd be great. Sorry, trustee Nance.
No, it's okay, I'm just saying about that
Trustee
because,
Mance, if I may answer your question.
Yeah.
The position, there was a resignation that was effective January 16th of 2026. You want to know how long the position was?
yeah, it was, because again, I was just trying to say there's interest and there is of people coming here, but maybe in lieu of an FTE, is there like contractual art services? Can we do something like that?
We do
right now?
that.
We're doing that right now.
We do that now. But I think the great thing about this, sorry.
Wow, somebody said something. You were whispering, somebody, oh, okay,
Oh, I think the great thing about this process that I appreciate specifically this year is that it's been opened up even more to having time with the building principals, having time to discuss with the district administration, and that this particular period as the superintendent's proposing this budget, we're hearing feedback. So the feedback will be taken into consideration, but the decisions aren't focused on a reduction, more of just making sure that the quality of program remains. So listening and hearing, like some of the comments that you made, it is important to make sure that just to possibly potentially revisit, but the arts is very important to all of us. So just know that it's not something that was thought about in terms of just reducing. It was presented that the programming could mimic what a model that is existing, that is working, right? So.
I'd like to add just one more thing. So thinking about, the IB framework and having our students perform and express themselves. The art and music teachers are great with that at R.J. Bailey and here at Woodlands. So having individualized, dedicated teachers in Jackson and Highview would be wonderful. We've had in the past, even as I moved up, the teacher retired, which sucked, but she used to do these performances, but it was a teacher who was really into the arts, even though we had part-time art person. So if we had a dedicated person, they could put on these performances, help kids have more confidence in doing, whether it's like performances or what do you call it, display their art, assemblies, shows, demonstrations, doing music performances as well. All of these things are great.
And I do want to reiterate that we do have, and learning about the contractual programs, Arts in Westchester, Arts in Education, Arts in Westchester, which is the organization who actually, one of the representatives is a graduate. Who we've met this year. We've been very strategic, intentional about making sure all the funding is used, and we are having the orchestra, they told me today it's not orchestra, the strings program at Highview. Just coordinating our efforts, and even with utilizing some of our title funds to support the music program, which is how we got the updates to the middle school classroom with the chair. So it's not, there's evidence of work happening. We just want to make sure that it's, we're understanding the programming, making sure at minimum our students are receiving the time that's required, but then also how do we expand from that?
And to add on with equity, because the strings program, you have to get the instrument. So if you're a family that struggles financially, you can't get that instrument, right? And then you have to get there early on your own to get to practice. It's a whole big thing. It's a lot on a parent if you don't have those resources. So for equity too, to have a full music program with an actual teacher would be really helpful as well. I just wanted to add that. Yes, Trustee Jacobson.
I'm not gonna keep beating a dead horse, but in my experience, whenever arts funding is cut, it is not usually brought back. And so I'm always particularly sensitive, because once people lose it, they're kind of like, oh, well, we're fine. And it's harder to bring it back than to make sure that you're zhuzhing it up for what you are.
Okay, another question. Looking at the revenue budget, I don't know if you talked about this, the interest earnings is expected to increase. So I'm assuming for 26, 27, all around interest rates are expected to go up. Is that accurate to say?
I'm not exactly sure what the projection is.
Okay.
Obviously, interest rates are
I know they're like-
variable,
I know.
up and down, up and down. It's kind of hard to predict,
Okay.
just like the stock market. I felt that that number was achievable, and
Okay.
that's why I chose it.
So it's conservative. Okay.
I wouldn't say it's conservative. I
Okay.
think it's achievable.
Okay.
A million would be conservative.
Okay, achievable works good. I have another question. On the impact to taxpayers, so the change from 25 to 26 is gonna be an increase of about $850, right? Do you know what it was last year between the 24 to 25 year?
I think it was lower than that when I looked at the numbers from last year. But again, that number is driven by the town's total property assessment and the average family home. And, you know, we're basically using a single family home assessment that the town gives us. So everybody's home assessment is different, and therefore everybody's tax bill is different.
Right.
So the example that we're given is based on, again, a small family home.
Okay.
But it was less last year. I can say, at least, I can say the presentation that I looked at from last year, it was less.
Okay.
I haven't actually verified the numbers.
Alright, yeah, I can find it too. Okay, that's all I have now. Trustee Bowden, I think you had more.
Maybe we'll try to-
First I'll piggyback on you, because I do value a conservative budget, and I love to be surprised when I'm
Get more.
getting more.
Yeah.
So instead of harping on the interest earnings, let me harp on the tuition.
Yeah.
This year we budgeted 1.5. Are we on target, over? How are our?
We're on target for this year.
On target.
The reason for the increase is, I'm told that we are going to add an 812 class. And we will have 5 vacancies in that special education class that PPS will advertise to other districts. Other districts are always looking for openings, and that will increase our revenue.
What grade band is that anticipated to be in?
I believe it was the Woodlands Middle High School. I can actually, hang on, I think I have it.
I feel like that's our time too.
So for our own students, in the newly created 812 class, there will be 2 middle school students and 1 high school, and that will be 5 available slots for outside district students to come.
So, I always thought that there was a need for more classes and more students. You're not sure?
I believe in recent years, we've had space in classes and they haven't been filled, which is why I am concerned that we're being optimistic on 2 fronts here, on the interest earnings and the tuition. So I just need to state that.
I mean, I will tell you that currently this year, our health and services are billing out at 1.5 million, and our tuition for current year is about 200,000. So then if we had 5 additional students that we were billing for, that would increase the revenue considerably.
So the current, let me just rephrase what you said to make sure, you can make sure I'm understanding. So we budgeted 1.5 for tuition and health services this year.
Correct. We're
But
actually
it sounds like we
billing
might
out.
be getting 1.7.
Correct.
So by budgeting what we're actually getting this year,
It's a
you're
conservative
saying you're still
budget.
being conservative because we're not really counting on the
We're not
additional
counting
vacancies.
on money we haven't received yet, but
Gotcha.
it is anticipated.
Okay, heard, all right.
And, you know, the office of the special education department under, you know, Mrs. Cabell has really been working hard to look at placements, looking at students and student programming, looking at the staffing necessary, especially with certification, to support and address those students in the programming. And so what I will say is I am confident in the work that Ms. Cabela is doing with her department to assess and reassess, even now, still, what that programming will look like.
And, sorry, thinking of the vacancies at that classroom and in that program and at this building, as far as the staffing levels, we maintain that we're going to be seeking 2 BCBAs for the district. That's still in the budget?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that will help. I have one more question, but anyone else can go.
Nope, it's all you.
Jeez. No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Trustee Warner, go ahead.
Okay, so if you, I'm looking and saying, this year, what budget, what tax increase will put us in the danger zone, right? So because of the weird thing that's going on where the town is trying to rebuild its war chest to pay for an expansion of the police, the police department, and they used that up during COVID in order to make things lower, then people are, looking for ways to not have their taxes go up because they know the town portion is going up. So I think this year that if you're at 4%, if your school budget is at 4%, then you're in danger, all right, of people coming after you. If you're at 3%, probably people will complain, but they won't do anything. You'll be safe. So we're at 3.5, so we're kind of, in the middle there of getting close to the danger zone, but not quite there yet. So if we want to put back the music teacher, then the question is, what can we do to cut something else or increase increase revenue, or if you have a revenue projection, don't increase it if you don't think if it's a good thing, right? Is that what we're looking for?
I feel that our revenue is stretched as far as it could be stretched currently. There are a lot of unknowns. Interest, unknown. State aid, unknown at this point. We won't know until the budget is finalized on April 1st. I do feel that the 3.57% was a good place to come in. It is lower than what we had last year. Last year we were 4.06, so we have come down a considerable amount. We've still been able to include everything in that to support all of our current programs and staff. I will tell you that in Westchester County, there are several districts that are struggling that are going to go over the cap. There are other districts that are coming in very similar to us. So, I don't like to think of a danger zone, but I do feel like 3.57 was a good place to be able to include everything that we needed to include.
I will say, our district does have a campus to maintain that other school districts in Westchester do not have. And additionally to having a campus and buildings to maintain, we have a community that utilizes our campus, and we still have to maintain, despite that utilization, beyond the children at the school. So that includes the roads, that includes the facilities, and sometimes the campus is abused, and we put parameters in place. But we do a great job, I think, given that we have that campus on top of the fact that other districts are struggling without a campus.
Correct.
To not go over tax caps. So, I do think the board, the administration should be commended for that and supported. Are there any more questions? Yes, Trustee Bowden.
One more, and I'm sorry, I go both of your.
Yeah, you can let her go last.
Well, I don't want to take all the air either. Looking to where did it go? The capital and fund transfer, wherever it is, here it is. Yes, this came up as part of the audit. Yes, we need to make these transfers. When we look at the 600,000 that was transferred last year, that was partial excess that we intended to target for the water main project. I believe part of the deficit that we were closing, the 22-23 district-wide, the last item there, FH, is the fire hydrant, is the water main project. So I believe that 600,000 was gonna help close that deficit. So I just would like to ask that soon we check to see, so in that 600,000 was gonna be transferred as part of this current budget year. So I just wanna see.
We're working on
Did
that.
things get looked at? Okay, and then I also wanna see, are there any other, with our ongoing projects, instead of waiting a year or two later to close deficits, are there anything that we need, are there things we need to fund now, out of the general
So
fund?
on
that may change
projects
the-
on a smaller scale, we do have the switch gear project that we started. I believe we need about $50,000 to finish that, to update the, tell me if I'm saying it wrong, APs? Okay. Sorry, I'm not a technology person. That is something that needs to be done. We also have,
Sorry, was that not included in the current general fund budget?
it's not included. The other thing is, I know that there's been talk of needing additional monies for blacktopping the part of the road going to the athletic field. I did ask our director of facilities if he had an idea of how much that would cost. So I'm not sure exactly how accurate this figure is, but the number I was given was about $260,000. I believe our vendor, our rate is $1.99 a square foot. So that is one thing that was brought up.
But that sounds like something that would not be in the capital fund, that would stay in the regular ongoing A fund.
Well, we do have money in our general fund budget. Now, that is for all of the campuses
Right.
for road repairs.
Right.
So I don't think that the monies that are currently in the general fund would be enough. And the other project on a technology level that we've been looking at is with the door locks. There is a door lock project that we've been getting some quotes on. I don't know that I'm really experienced enough to talk about that project.
Okay.
It's a security thing,
So,
but maybe
Is this the,
So let me close up my question. So then, you're looking into the $600,000 transfer and the deficits, and then hopefully offline we can get an update on the capital project length schedule to see if there are other deficits. If that's covered, if there are other deficits we need to be
Right.
including here.
The one
So
thing
look
though
for
I
that
want to
in the packet
mention
as
about
well.
the capital interfund transfer,
Uh-huh.
so that project, the 22-23 district-wide, it looks to me like there were four different projects in one. So
Yes.
if the 600,000 is going towards the fire hydrant project only, I'm not sure that we would reduce the full 417.
Right, FH, fire hydrant. Trustee Warner, correct me where I'm wrong, we probably need to look at some of this offline, but that was
Correct.
the beginning of this project.
It was one of
That we
4
expected.
projects.
Yes,
Okay.
so if it's all closed out except for that, so we need to take a look at that capital project link schedule, which I will hope to see in the packet. And I'm done.
Don't forget the extra fire hydrant.
don't forget the extra
If
fire.
there's 600,000, you'll have enough for
Right,
your fire
that's,
hydrant.
trustee Warner, that's what I was saying, we need to take a look at the second piece of it, so, yep, okay.
So, and also look at that cost for the blacktop to the athletic field, because the math isn't mathing.
Yeah, like I
So-
said, I just asked for a roundabout
It's
figure and that is what I was
$1.99
given.
per-
We haven't gotten a professional estimate.
Yeah. Okay, trustee Sambalayo.
Moving back to the class, the self-contained classroom.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry if the details are not available, but Ms. Cabell is reaching out to outside districts. Is the plan to have the class filled by September?
The plan is to have the class filled at, whether it's by September, I can't say that for sure, but she will be reaching out to our partner districts or those who may be looking for that type of placement. Could be a student that's in a further placement and we're closer to them. So our best way we can maximize those seats.
I think what happens a lot of times is around May and June, a lot of other districts' placements have filled. And then you have students who are looking for placements. So I don't think it would be difficult to find placements to fill
No,
those.
and I
Because
agree.
people are usually looking and they're not able to find a district that has an opening.
I appreciate their outreach because from my past experiences, there have been a lot of empty spots in our self-contained classrooms. And I was always wondering, it's such a windfall of revenue for the district, and I always wondered why it wasn't being maximized.
Yeah, the director of PPS said she would be reaching out to other districts.
Thank you.
Basically, if you build it, they will come.
Right. I'm sorry?
If you build it, they will come.
Yes, and well, if you also tell them about it.
Tell them you built it.
Have an arrow pointing. Correct.
Right, as many pieces. Okay. Yes, Trustee Long?
Are we going to each kind of, regardless of questions, just offer our thoughts on this, or are we?
Would you like to share your thoughts?
I would.
Okay.
But my thoughts, I appreciate the thoughtfulness that was put into this and the attempt at tightness. Households are stretched, and any increase, it's not much, but every year it's a little bit. Any increase is going to be a challenge for a good many households. But it's also a challenge for us because our costs have gone up as a district also. I thank you for keeping it tight. I am concerned about any increase whatsoever because it's going to get tough the more. That's my 2 cents. And you could add to the budget.
Just 2 cents. I got a question on that, so, excuse me. So I know when taxpayers are requested to pay the bill, they break it up into payments. How would it look like if we broke it up maybe over 3 or 4, maybe stretch that out as opposed to, no, they can't do that.
That's not the school district decision.
Well, so who works with the town to maybe even suggest or propose something like that?
State law.
Who would state law?
They do what they want.
And well, then who can ask them? Like, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, is there other options knowing that costs increasing everywhere, property taxes are going up, any
I
other
think there is a
options?
payment plan available for the school taxes, isn't there? Like, I know where I live, when I get my school tax bill, obviously if you split it up over 3 payments, though, you pay interest. They charge you fees on top of that. But I don't know, do they not do that here? Do they not give you the option to pay in
I
installments?
think those are all questions for our town assessor.
Okay.
Because the school, let's just be
You
clear,
can pay in
The
2
school-
payments.
the school district does not make any of those decisions.
No, we don't
The school
make those
district does
decisions.
not set the state law.
Answer.
State law determines any penalties. The school district does not determine penalties. The school district does not collect penalties.
No.
Or
taxes.
or receive the penalties once they're collected by the town. So let's just be very clear on what is our remit and what is not.
I get it. I was just asking.
I think it's a fantastic question. It's just, we didn't know that, should not be answered.
All right, any other questions? Would any trustees like to share their thoughts? Trustee Warner?
I believe I have shared my thought in terms of what will make it and what won't, in terms of the amount of risk. I thought that 3% was good. I was concerned if we made it to 4, and we're about halfway there.
Wonderful.
So if I want to add an art teacher, which I do, then I got to take something away, and I haven't figured out what to take away yet. So I'm standing pat for now unless I identify something that I think is waste. I'm not moving anywhere. So I'm in support of the budget as it stands. We'll look and see if there's something we could, make it up with.
Thank you. Trustee Jacobson, do you want to share your thoughts?
My biggest one was about the arts in general, and to kind of, I guess, go from what Trustee Warner was just saying. In my mind, some of the additions, those numbers could be looked at differently. Maybe, I understand and I can appreciate the substitute teacher shortage across the board, not just here. And creative problem solving, I think, is always something I would like to encourage. Maybe it's 2 building-based substitute teachers instead of 4, or something like that. Maybe run it as like a pilot program and see how that works. I also am concerned just from the substitute teacher side of things. I don't want it to become like, oh, well, there's always subs around, so like if I call out today, it's not a big deal. Like I want to make sure that it is in support of teachers, not in lieu of teachers. And so I think to also, the other piece of the arts is the staff SEL portion of things too, that encourages people to come to work and help them feel good in their job and think the work that they're doing. And I think ways that we can do that might help with our need for substitute teachers.
Thank you.
And a good way is to have the kids more relaxed and more expressing themselves through the arts, through music, through creating arts, and being more expressive as opposed to maybe a little resistant or frustrated or overwhelmed in some way.
There's been students who have directly said to me, like, SEL day is their favorite day. It's the day that they love coming to school, when other days they don't. And it's because they actually get to pick and feel empowered by the things that work for them, where they feel good and they feel strong. And if you struggle in some of the core classes, like those days are imperative to help you come to school and enjoy the learning process in your own way.
Trustee Valen, do you want to share your thoughts?
I believe this is a realistic, I'm now convinced it's a pretty realistic budget. I think it will, because I need to always, I'm conservative, I don't want to overestimate what we're going to get in here. I also realize we can't please everybody's wish list, so I think it's a great start. I think we're at least 75% of the way there, if not more. Sorry, I'm not touchy-feely, but that'll be.
Walk out this moment. Trustee Sambalaya, do you want to share your
No,
thoughts?
I appreciate the work, and it's an incredible amount of work that I myself wouldn't want to do. What, okay, so is language, trustee minutes. But I do echo what trustee Long was mentioning, the political climate, the economy, how that's going to impact households, and I think I'm always concerned at this point in time, every year. So, hopefully it'll work out.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Sambalaya. Trustee Mans?
I piggyback off you. Thank you, Ellen, for putting this together. I feel like Trustee Valen is realistic, it's conservative. And just to talk about SEL Day, Trustee Jacobson, I don't know, I feel I get mixed opinions from students on it. Some are like, and some are like, yay. So could we do a survey maybe on how the students really truly feel about SEL and those activities? Yeah, because I get mixed reviews. Just sharing that.
I think next education committee meeting,
Oh,
there's
you're
the
right.
results.
Next Thursday.
There were results on how SEL Day, was it specifically SEL Day or just the whole program?
SEL in general.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna leave it at that.
However,
I'll
Trustee
leave it out
Mans,
and
would you
give you
agree
feedback.
that the arts and musics are a way in which children can express themselves, can create, can express themselves, can have outlets to the traditional, what I'm gonna call like math and English, that may not be their thing this year or at this time in their development?
I mean, it's a good way to see if you're right, it could gauge an interest. But the question is, does the program gauge interest? To your point, I don't know if, you know, our teachers are recycling the same thing from the previous year and just trying it with a different cohort. Are they really mixing, mingling, thinking outside the box and doing things different every year? I'm not sure, I'm not there. But again, the group of, that I'm referencing, you know, SEL it's a mixed review. But again, to your point, I think it's important to incorporate that student feedback. I just want to make sure it's there, we're listening, and we're trying to align where they are so everyone can be engaged, not just certain individuals, if that makes sense. So, more to come. I'll be waiting for the committee, the education committee report on that. Because when is your meeting again, Trustee Allen?
Our meeting is next Thursday at 7 p.m. at Woodlandsville High School.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if I'll be in attendance, so.
I don't.
We'll share this.
I missed
Yes. Okay, yes, Ms. Knight?
Can I say something? So I totally understand what you're saying. When creating this budget, obviously, the first thing I took into consideration is the impact on our taxpayers. But the one thing that I do want to say is where we've seen some school districts get into trouble is, as President Mayer said, we have to maintain what we have. We want to continue our programs. We want to keep our staff level where it is. And sometimes when you don't maintain or you cut from your budget, you don't get that back. So what happens is the next year, it's like a snowball that rolls down a hill. So now you don't want to collect double, but you have to make up what you lost for the year that you went lower than you should have to maintain what you have. So all of those were taken into consideration when we built the budget. The most important thing for us was to maintain all of our student programs. We do have a lot of properties to maintain and structures and things. But you know, we take our students first and our staff. And it's important to maintain our programs and our staff, and we try to be as fiscally responsible and considerate to the taxpayer at the same time. Thank you.
Trustee Mallon?
No,
Oh, I thought your hand was up.
no.
Sorry. Okay. Nothing more, we gotta move on.
I know, you came on.
So, I did not, I tried
That's
to.
right.
We need 7 seconds.
I always try not to comment too much. I agree that the budget is an awful lot of work. Listen, I would love no increase whatsoever. If we could figure out how to make that happen, that'd be wonderful. Put the music teacher back, add another teacher so that maybe the teachers can focus on new curriculum to bring into the classroom for the kids. Everything else, you know, that we're adding, I mean, the wish list. Dr. Chisholm, I hear you. Yeah, that's it. My thoughts.
So then my question is, tomorrow's meeting, 7 o'clock at Bailey. What are we looking at? So people know. Are we looking at each line in detail?
Well,
all the
because it's
section
a-
codes and everything?
May I answer?
Sure.
It is a budget workshop, which means there's an opportunity for discussion with members of the public who arrive, as opposed to 4 minutes of public comment that we don't respond to. We will go through this presentation as well as an appropriation report, which shows slightly more details on these buckets, which are included in the presentation. So yes, a little bit more line by line.
And appropriations, is that a breakout of each expense line?
It's actually next to you, under that, you probably have it right there.
I know what it is, but does everyone
For the
listening?
public.
Oh, I understand.
Sometimes we ask
It
questions.
is, you're right, it is the expenditure side of the report, looking at it by budget codes and breaking it down to things such as Board of Education, district meeting, facilities, maintenance, blah, 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 blah. Is that
Thank you.
Good
And
enough?
for Mrs. Merrill?
Yes.
I know a big project was to be more detailed with your project codes. Are we gonna be able to know which ones have been added to give you that level of detail? or-
So our focus on being more detailed with the budget codes is more so on the H fund, the capital fund.
Okay.
There were a few codes that we had talked about breaking out. I have not broken them out yet. Basically, so I'll just give you an example. We talked about maybe instead of having a district-wide equipment code, breaking it out to each building. I've not done that yet. If we do that, it doesn't affect the numbers. The total is still the same.
Okay. Well, there might be some people that want to know how much equipment costs will go to Hackney, or what's gonna go to the high school, things like that. Do you know when you might have a final decision for that, or a conclusion, I should say?
I would say probably by the beginning of April, we should have that all squared away. And we could actually give, even if we don't break the code out, we could report on what we expect to allocate to each building based on what they've asked for.
Yes, just,
May I?
yes.
Something just dawned on me, so, that's coming back when you built the budget and the codes. Did you incorporate what was discussed in, I think, the finance committee regarding assigning codes to projects, to facilities projects, so that the budget line items are?
So that's your capital project, your capital
Yeah.
fund, which is the H fund, which is not part of the budget vote.
Okay,
So what you're gonna see is only general fund,
got it.
which is A.
Awesome, thank you.
The only thing I will say about tomorrow night is that, you know, we are having discussions of changes that could possibly happen in the proposed budget, but I will tell you there will not be any time between tonight and tomorrow night for the presentation to be updated. So the presentation that will be given tomorrow will be very similar to today, will be exactly today. So I think it's important to just say that, because this isn't finalized. We're gonna continue to have discussions, at the recommendation of the board and the superintendent, changes will be made, and we will update them and they will be reflected in future presentations.
Okay. Hearing no more discussion, we're gonna move back to the agenda and see where we are. So again, I apologize for my tardiness. Next on the agenda is the ex officio student report, and I know Dr. Chisholm had some feedback from one of our student ex officio members.
Yes, thank you. Eli apologizes, Eli Simple, our student board rep, apologizes for not being here, but he did send his report. Woodlands Middle High School has an upcoming performance of Lightning Thief. You can see it on the 13th at 7 p.m., on the 14th at 5 p.m., and the 15th at 2 p.m. Additionally, he wishes to congratulate the Woodlands boys varsity basketball team for receiving their 3rd gold ball. Other than that, he says interim reports are coming out soon, meaning it is the middle of the 3rd marking period. Parents, be on the lookout for those progress reports. There's also a volleyball fundraiser for the sophomores, so please come out and support. I can't remember what day he said that was. I'll look that up. Do you remember what day this is? What day was that? Oh my goodness. I'll keep reading, but if you want, I'm gonna look for that so I can.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Just, it's a fundraiser.
Oh, goodness. So there's a fundraiser coming up. We'll get that information to you. And then lastly, he wants to congratulate our Lady Falcon, Elizabeth Kritzberg, for her commitment to SUNY University at Buffalo. So I'm gonna say go Bulls. And congratulations to her and any other students who may have committed between then and now. So that was his ex officio report.
And the student game is next week, but we don't have the date as well.
For volleyball.
Oh, also vote for Noah Cherubin.
Oh, that's in my report.
Okay.
I was just reading his report.
Okay. And so I'm gonna say I can get you, hopefully next meeting, some of the schools that students have been accepted to. I know the community likes that, the board really likes to hear that. As well as any scholarship monies that have been
I have
received.
some of those.
Oh, do
We
you?
haven't mentioned all the schools, but the schools that we haven't mentioned that have had acceptances so far, more,
Okay,
are Morgan State, Northeastern, RIT, SUNY New Paltz, Indiana, University of Indiana, University of Nebraska, University of Kentucky, and the American Musical and Dramatic Academy. We have scholarships, and these are for individual students, of $234,000, $124,000, $164,000.
very good, thank you. That's so wonderful. I don't know how teachers do it. They got it. And that's so helpful. So another thing students are dealing with right now is getting those acceptances, getting those monies, applying for more scholarships, as well as,
And for that,
yes.
the guidance office has plenty of opportunities for scholarships, so students should go visit them. And the Woodland Scholarship Fund last year gave $40,000 to 22 students. So please apply to the Woodland Scholarship Fund.
Woodland Scholarship, Woodland's High School Scholarship Fund has been in existence since the 60s, I believe, where they came together to support students that wanted to go to college and giving them some money to help.
I was one of those.
Yes.
I apologize. Thank you for that. That's great information. The volleyball fundraiser will be held in the gym on April 16th. So, amen.
Thank you. All right, next, board president's report, which I just talked about the students, and trustee Sambalaya helped me out a little bit. And we're gonna move on to the superintendent of schools report. Dr. Chisholm?
Thank you, President Mayor. So I just wanted to address that this morning we did experience some seismic energy around the district. We did experience a 2.3 magnitude earthquake. Right away, we contacted the buildings to ensure that everyone was safe and that our buildings were okay. And then the communication was immediately sent out to the community. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows that was addressed and we were aware if you didn't feel it. Also, STEAM Night and IB Visual Arts Exhibition is this Thursday from 6 to 8:30. Please come, please visit, please see what our students have put on display for everyone. I also want to say congratulations to the Woodlands boys basketball team on their incredible Section 1 championship win in overtime against Dobbs Ferry on Sunday. I think I probably bit all my nails off. That was a very stressful overtime game.
Why would you worry?
But it was very good. So what I will say is please join us to support our boys team as they face off in the semifinals against, and I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong,
Ontiora.
Ontiora at Mahopac High School tomorrow, March 11th at 5 p.m. Wear your Woodlands gear, wear some green, all those good things. Again, it's also time to vote for our Low HUD Boys Basketball Player of the Week. This week, Noah Cherubin. See, I'm bad with last names. He's up to be voted for. We need to get as many votes as we can. Right now, as I last checked, he was in 3rd place. So please, everyone go vote. You can vote as much as possible. Tell a friend, all right? And then finally, I just want to say thank you to my cabinet, really, Ms. Merrill too. This is a lot of work to put together and coordinate and to this whole budget development process. So I do want to thank Ms. Merrill as well as the cabinet and our other leaders who, for their hard work and their support during this budget development process. It's a team effort, so thank you.
Takes a village.
That concludes my report.
Can I just add on for Thursday night, the same night as the STEAM night, Thursday day, same day as the STEAM night, we have the Art IB exhibit from 9 to 1. And that's here at Woodlands, and students will be present to discuss their art and explain their projects to anyone that asks. Okay, we'll return to committee reports. I know you guys gave out some dates, but let's give a short report, less than 2 minutes. The CEC committees first. That's you, Trustee Warner.
There was no CEC meeting. We've already covered it.
Wonderful.
So the next CEC is tomorrow night. And Chris has more than adequately gone over what's going to happen in the budget. We'll probably hit the highlights of upcoming events from the CEC side, and that's about it.
Okay, great. What? Well, first of all, when is the next audit committee?
And we did all this while you were, we did that part, so I'm skipping you to what we have.
3/11/26, 7 p.m.
Audit is on pause.
RJ Daily.
What are you answering, David? I'm sorry.
Facilities.
Facilities?
Facilities.
Okay, facilities is
You want me
right?
to give a facilities report?
Yes.
The facilities committee met on 3/4/26 at 6:30 p.m. in the Woodlands Innovation Lab. We discussed 1. Thanks to the snow cleanup crew for getting us safely back to school after 23 inches of snow over 4 days. 2. The water main project at Woodlands piping is complete. We need to connect with the water system. At the west end, the Stone Oaks attorney has made contact with our attorney regarding a license to give us access to make the hookup. At the east end, we authorized a wet tap and a vault has been installed to house the flow control valves. 3. The track surface is on hold until spring with a revised tentative ribbon cutting date for the Eller Memorial Field of June 15th. 4. The energy performance contract is done except for the battery energy storage system hookup. The switchgear has arrived, but we have a lot of snow on the ground. Well, it's going away now, but there's water. We're still 3 weeks from completion, weather permitting. 5. The Highview and Leaf Jackson roofs will start by summer, but may start sooner. Schedules are being negotiated. We'll know in about 2 weeks. 6. The Science Lab project received no bids for plumbing. We'll rebid in March with a target date for bid award April 7th. 7. The committee recommendation to authorize the issuance of an RFP for a rooftop solar project was not approved in January by the Board of Education due to lack of information. There was skepticism about the minimal cost of the RFP, whether we had time to execute the project before the One Big Beautiful Bill sunset the tax benefits, and questions about what the project would look like. In February, we confirmed that the cost of the RFP was $182. BBS Architects had provided a tentative schedule if we liked any of the responses to an RFP, but left it to bidders to define the scope, so we have no picture to look at. So we looked for example districts who have completed rooftop solar projects. Recently, ASB Merrill has inquired and received feedback from Ardsley and Pecanico Hills. I sent you guys an email yesterday with attachments, with the pictures of the rooftops and the feedback from the districts. And the question is, okay, I think we've made a good effort to get information. Have we changed anybody's minds? And what does the administration think? So first, Shonda, having talked to other people who have done these rooftop solar projects, do you think we should issue the RFP?
Trustee Warner, hold on. I do want to give Dr. Chisholm a moment to respond or delegate to Ms. Merrill, if that's okay. Thank you.
So in thinking about this, I know at first people did not have enough information, so it was like, let's talk to some neighboring districts who have engaged in this project. We did that. The range is from like $1 million to like $5 million, but we don't know the full scope of the work that was done on any of those campuses. I think honestly, $182 is not a large amount of money to just put it out there to see what it would cost for Greenberg to do that work. And then from there decide whether or not we want to engage or move further with it. But at least we'll have a number that's close to a figure that is relevant to the work that we're doing and that we need done here on our campus. I also do believe that we have a lot of projects going on right now. And so when we're thinking about that game plan, especially with how the projects are going, I'm just gonna be honest, we should start seeing some projects through to fruition before trying to move forward with other large-scale projects that could cost us in the millions right now. That would be my feeling, my recommendation, would just go ahead and do the RFP, see what it would cost us, and then we decide from there whether or not that's something that we feel like we wanna move forward with.
Trustee Jacobson.
My question is actually for Trustee Warner, not related to this, so I don't know if
Okay.
anybody with questions related to the
Solar
RFP.
panels.
Yeah.
Trustee Mims.
I got solar panels. All right. So if I'm not mistaken, we have to start the work by a certain date, correct, Trustee Warner?
No.
or no?
Yeah.
Yes,
No.
I think
To get
that's-
the tax
we have
benefit.
to rebate.
Well,
Completed by-
okay, so just so we're clear though, there is a tax rebate incentive. We have to complete the work by December of 2027. They said you didn't have to meet both dates. You didn't have to meet the start date and the end date. It was one or the other. I believe that was the information we received from BBS. So we knew that, you know, going into this, we knew it was, we probably would not meet that start date. But with the timeline, I think the reason why the, some folks are wanting to go out for the RFP soon is because once we get the RFP, a decision has to be made and the work would start relatively soon to be able to meet the deadline of December 2027 to be eligible for the tax rebate incentive.
So what is the start date? I'm getting somewhere with this, that's why I'm asking about it. Because my thing is, what's the definition of start? Do we have to start banging something, or is it the fact we've signed agreements, something's in place, something's gonna happen? What is the start definition for this project?
Well, I believe when they were referring to meeting a deadline for a start date was breaking ground.
Okay.
But
So-
we just said we don't have to meet that deadline of July 1st. I think it was actually July 4th or something of this year,
Mhm.
2026.
Okay,
You had to meet one or the other
okay,
to be eligible for the federal tax rebate.
okay,
Okay,
got it.
so,
Hold on, wait a second.
okay.
Now, so we have to start on all the schools, one school? What does that look like for us? Do we know?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, so that's probably a BBS question that they need to look, because we have 4 different schools, right?
What happens is they'll give
Whoever
them
gets
all
the
of the roofs,
Yeah.
you know, condition of all the roofs, this condition and size, and then people will bid, and some people will say, it's not worth putting solar on this roof because it's too small. And other people will say, no, I think that roof could have some solar panels on it. So you may get one bid that'll have, you know, Woodlands and Leop Jackson. You may have one that also has RJ Bailey. You don't know until you have the people, the individual people, vendors bid on it.
So it sounds like the recommendation is to do the RFP.
I don't see any harm in just doing an RFP and seeing what we find out, and that will give us more concrete data to make the decision.
Okay. Was trustee Mann's done, or you have more questions?
I'm done, but I'm not, because I'll be honest with you, I'm surprised you didn't get any bids for this plumbing of the science lab. Do we really anticipate people coming out here and bidding for this solar panel project? What's the likelihood of it happening? I mean, I'm just curious. Does BBS feel confident you'll at least get one bid, or?
Could I?
BBS complained that if we took too long to make up our minds, that we would end up with RWE giving the only bid.
Thank you. Trustee Wong, you have something to say?
I have a question, the RFP, it seems to me the 182 is probably not all-inclusive. There's people's time that has to go into this. Are there legal reviews that have to go into the writing of the RFP and the responses of contracts? Is this our board discussion, or is
People
this?
said that it was part of their yearly fee to us to do the minimal amount that they would look at before it went out. The $182 was the advertising cost, and BBS offered to generate the RFP for no money. Because they're cutting and pasting front and updating their stuff from their old, a lot of old documents that they have, and we've also kept track of our utility usage.
So you opened up another can of worms. Now you're saying that what this is copy and pasting from something that was written 2 years ago, and now we're in 2026. That's what I'm trying to figure
That's
out.
not exactly what he's saying.
Okay.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Mrs. Mullen. The RFP is somewhat standard.
Correct.
And what happened, and to your question, there would be minimal work for a business office staff person to do for the RFP. So that's the work on our end. They're the ones that place the ad into the paper. They are also the ones that send the RFP to legal for review prior to going out for advertising. Legal has already confirmed that there would be no additional charge, it would be inclusive in the retainer. So we felt that the benefit of getting an RFP outweighed the $182. I think that's, if I'm correct, that's where we stand.
To get more accurate.
Because we can't get an accurate, a scope on the project or a price without the actual RFP. So there was no risk because you could go out for an RFP and then decide not to do the project.
Right.
I have a lot of things to say. I'm not sure I should say them though. It bothers me, because there's a couple things. It's not much risk. But what is the reality of us pursuing this? And can anyone in this room name a project that we've actually completed on time in the last 5 years? Due to all kinds of issues, I'm not gonna point, there's
No, it's
100
not,
issues.
yeah, you're not blaming, you're saying it doesn't.
It's just the
always-
reality. And frankly, solar's not going anywhere. Rebates for that they might go away for a little bit, but they will not go away forever. It bothers me to spend any energy on something that is awfully questionable. It's not like people have nothing to do around here. I agree. I'll stop there.
Okay. All right, anything else in your report, trustee Warner?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot more in my report.
Oh, no, I think you hit the 2 minutes.
Are you guys for going forward with this or not?
Hold on, trustee Jacobson.
I don't know if this is the right time. I was just curious, because the track won't be done until June, where are the track team members practicing and competing this season?
What do they usually do?
I don't know what they usually do.
Good question. I'll find that out and let you know.
Okay.
Trustee Warner, you want an answer on what we're doing with the solar panels? With the RFP?
I want to know if they're going forward. They asked for our blessing to go forward the RFP. Are we going to?
So, Dr. Chisholm gave a recommendation, she heard the discussion, so they will
Yeah.
decide what they're gonna do next. Will you update the board in the packet?
I
and
will
let us
update
know?
the board. I still have the caveat and concern, and it probably mirrors yours, which is what I, said earlier. We have so many things going on in this campus right now simultaneously. To try to rush another project to meet a rebate. I don't even know what the rebate is, how much the rebate would be.
It depends on the cost of the
It's like-
project.
the cost of the project.
And then we have to keep in
Okay.
mind that the entire project is not rebatable, right? I don't even know if that's the right word, but,
So,
so basically, it's only the solar panel piece, the total cost of that.
So you guys will discuss, you heard from the board, and then let us know for sure. Is that okay, trustee Warner?
So you're not going to pull the board?
Do you wanna,
It's not our decision.
yeah, it's not our decision, but if you would like to share your point of view, please, I don't wanna mute you. If you wanna share your point of view on the project, on the RFP or on the project?
Okay, yes.
Okay. Does anyone else wanna share their view? Trustee Jacobson, do you wanna?
good.
Okay, trustee Alonwe,
I think I was clear.
you were clear. Trustee Gowan,
I will support the recommendation of the superintendent.
trustee Sambalaya,
I wanna see stuff finished.
trustee Mann.
I'll support the recommendation.
I'm gonna support the recommendation as well, so we look forward to your recommendation. Okay. Next committee
Thank you.
is,
Wait, is he done with it? Trustee Warner, you finished with your whole report? Because I have more facility
No,
questions.
I'm only on 8.
All right.
how many numbers do you have?
How many?
Okay, 8, we clarified that phase 4 projects will have no effect on this year's budget and discussed additions to our options list. Woodlands Cafeteria, the library, and unspecified administrative recommendations, so I'm waiting to hear more. We're broadening the scope of the mansion option beyond HVAC. Principles for evaluating project options should include safety and student usage. 9, the Woodlands stage lighting and rigging project is essentially done, and we should see the results in our student production of Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief, opening Friday, March 15th at 7 p.m. 10, current New York State law requires us to migrate to zero emissions buses. A bus electrification study is 75% fundable by NYSERDA, and remaining cost is included in next year's budget. 11, we reviewed the short-term soccer field fixes and discussed combining long-term fixes with phase 4 options. 12, a letter seeking aid for mansion restoration was drafted and will be delivered to our donor contact this week. We're looking for other possible donors. The next meeting of the Facilities Committee is Thursday, April 9th at 6:30 p.m. in the Woodlands Innovation Lab.
Thank you.
Done.
Thank you, Trustee Warner, for reading that fast as well. Did you have questions?
I did, and it's probably a repeat, but the potholes are ridiculous. Can we do a quick fix? I know you don't wanna invest in filling them up right now, but something has to be done. I'm literally swerving like this, I'm hitting things if I'm not paying attention. I don't wanna give y'all a receipt, cause I gotta fix my wheels and stuff, so what are we gonna do?
At the meeting, Dennis said that maybe with the rise in temperatures that the plants would open, the asphalt plant would open this week, and he could get some real stuff to fill in the potholes that would stay and last through the storms. I don't know if that happened or not. Do you know?
So I do know that this week, Dennis said that they did, I wanna say yesterday, they started filling some of the holes. They're not being filled with the blacktop yet, but they're being filled, I think they call it millings.
Yes.
But I agree with you, that piece that comes towards
Yes.
this building, I don't think they've gotten there yet. So he did say that every day they're gonna continue to fill those holes, and I agree with you, some of them are very bad. We definitely want everybody to be careful and look out for the potholes and travel at your own risk.
Yeah, so, you know, just so you know, it is a private road, so we are not, paying for anyone's car, so swerve as much as you can.
You know what?
Better village trustees, to swerve all that you can. But I did hear in the, I guess it was a facilities meeting, that there's a certain temperature they have to have, I mean, I'm talking general terms, a certain temperature that they have to have. There's a certain time of the year they do all of the paving, people get the driveways done, they do the roads, and we are definitely on target, right, to get our stuff done when that time period hits me, April, I don't know. So I just, you know, yes.
Fair enough.
Okay. So, you gotta drive like all the way to the left side to come in without crashing. Ride the sidewalk. Okay, next we have Wellness Committee, Trustee Jacobson, it's 8:30.
2 minutes.
Quick. We met on 2/27, and basically we split all of our student members into 4 groups that had at least 1, sometimes 2 admin, which was awesome. And so we had a nutrition group, a physical health group, an emotional health and employee health group, and a community resources group. And the kids didn't get to everybody, and they actually want to do that for the next meeting so that they can talk to all of the admin, because I think they really felt heard, and there was a lot of really good brainstorming that came out of it. We were asking them to break apart that section of the wellness policy and think about ways to deliver that information out. So whether that's posters, digital resources, or activities. And so we have a shared document where we're putting all that information together. Really good ideas. I think there was a lot of learning on the students' part that they didn't know that certain ingredients can be used as part of the nutrition policy and what that means and what that looks like. And so there was a lot of learning and sharing that was going on across both between adults and students. So we also zoomed in some students from RJ Bailey, and I'm hoping for the next meeting we can zoom in Highview students. We touch every school and make sure we hear from everybody. And yeah, the students asked to do this again so that they get to make their rounds. And we're gonna see if food services can provide lunch so that they have a little bit of an easier time getting here and participating. And our next meeting is April 10th from 12:30 to 2:30. And thank you to the admin in the room who helped and talked to students. I hope it was valuable for you too.
Any comments? I did hear feedback, Trustee Jacobson, I think you heard it too, about more, cultural foods, different
Yes.
ethnicities, different types of food. I know many, many moons ago, we had a food and nutrition committee maybe on the Board of Ed. I wasn't even on the board. And they actually visited other schools, and other school districts did have more authentically cultural foods that they served. So people did ask about that. I don't know. They had great stations here when I went in and saw, but I don't know how the cultural foods would work. I don't know if it's elementary or high school, but.
That comment specifically came from R.G. Bailey,
Oh, okay.
which doesn't have nearly the selection that Woodlands does. I think Pat heard all of the information from the Bailey students pretty well, and he was interested in what they had to say. The other takeaway from it was they really wanted analog information. They wanted printed menus, they wanted a physical suggestion box so they can put physical paper in. They wanted flyers on paper, like they were, not that they were against using their Chromebooks, but like they were like, why can't we just have paper? So it was actually a very interesting thought. And so Trustee Mans, like you said earlier about getting the student voices, especially with SEL, it's a great opportunity for them to, they got to meet with Ms. Cabell directly and exchange ideas that way too.
You know, Trustee Valen and I have talked about having graduates and older students. We actually probably overuse technology. Like the kids do a lot of text messaging and social media messaging, but those kids get a flood of emails. They don't even open them. They're like, they totally block it out. It's like extra noise. And we get, as parents, right, we get a ton of emails. So maybe they do want things, hard copies.
Yeah, they want to be able to reference it later when they don't have their phones and they don't have their computers out, just like hard copy.
Trustee Long?
Your comment, Trustee Maris, about the cultural additions to the menu, our contract does permit us to review and approve the menus, so perhaps a meeting with our supplier would, to encourage that some of those additions happen in the monthly menu would be, I thought that was a great idea, I loved it.
Trustee?
Well, I believe you said that Pat was at the meeting, correct?
Yes, and we wanted them, the students, to put eyes on him, and he's there every day to be like, that's who you go hound when you see him.
He's very receptive
Yes,
to the
very much so.
recommendations. So I know he has added a lot here at Woodlands, so I have no doubt, and I will mention it to him again, but I have no doubt that he will take those recommendations and run with them.
He was seemed to take them very seriously.
Trustee Mans and then Valen.
Well, Trustee Brown was sharing it
I
first.
called on you. You go.
Okay, it's fine. Thinking about the students that attended, I think that's wonderful. We love student engagement. Was this open to all students, like middle school too? There was like a formal announcement. Just think about.
Well, I have announced it here multiple times, and we put it out to Mr. Smith and the vice principals. It got routed to Mr. Rounds.
Okay.
And then we had a bunch of students come from that originally. Many of those students were not in attendance at this last one. I don't know why. It was also right after the blizzard, we all got back from break. So I think everybody was a little all over the place. But we had 2 ninth graders and 4 7th graders.
Okay.
All girls, so we do have a little bit of a gap in participation there. But it is open, and I think once we get some of their ideas up and running, that will generate its own buzz. And people will be like, oh, this is coming from my peers. And so I want to come and talk about it.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Trustee Valen?
Just FYI, by my liaison report, there's a WISBA lunchtime webinar this Friday on food services, practical discussion on the financial and regulatory side of school food services. If any wellness committee members are willing or able to do that. All right.
Okay. Does that conclude your committee report?
Yes.
Safety committee?
Oh, that is that day. All right, one moment. So the safety committee, we met in January and we discussed both of our short-term and long-term projects. In terms of short-term goals, we are partnering with the PTA, Woodlands, to host a representative from the Westchester District Attorney. That will be next Monday at 7 o'clock in the Innovation Lab. She's gonna be talking to parents, I believe, about internet and social media safety. We also expect to administer a national safety survey for students in grades 5 through 12 to help Guide for Future Planning. Dr. Chisholm, that was your project. Are we still on track?
So I have a meeting with Kelly, we've already talked about that work to do the Ed School Climate Survey.
Okay, sounds good. For long-term goals, we continue reviewing our projects that will take more than 1 year, and we discuss how likely they are to be completed and what steps will be needed. So our meeting for March 25th has been canceled. We are actually having a board meeting that night, so we're gonna meet again on April the 20th at 6:30 at the high school in the Innovation Lab. Come and join. We have lots of good talks, and it's a very interactive meeting. Just saying. Any questions?
Hearing none, Technology Committee?
We met on February 26th. We discussed the budget, some of the things that we talked about tonight, and we reviewed the instructional technology plan. We also looked at our remote learning plan and prompted by the blizzards and seeing what our needs might be. STEAM night is on Thursday from 6 to 7:30. The library media specialists are steering this year, so it will look different from last year and the year before, which will be very exciting. And so you can come, you can go see the art show, you can watch, there's a play, dress rehearsal, there's a whole bunch happening. There's a lot of reasons to be here on Thursday. And our next meeting is March 18th from 11 to 1. We are actually going to be in the Innovation Lab because from 11 to 12, we are inviting students to come and add their input around tech, particularly around things that they want to see more of, things that they need more information on, their feedback from STEAM night. And so the hope is they can come during lunch in their free period, contribute. We'll have a couple different interactive ways so that as students come and go, they can contribute. And we'll go from there, and then we'll have the second half of our meeting to discuss the experience and more of the instructional technology plan.
Okay, any questions? Hearing none,
No,
we're gonna move, yes?
I don't, just
Yes, sorry.
to interject, STEAM night is also being paired with IB exhibition in the evening. So the
Yes.
IB exhibit will have.
Oh, you're having that in the evening now?
Yeah, so
Great.
based on last year's,
Feedback?
based on last year's feedback, there will be opportunity for the community to also see the exhibition.
Beautiful.
But the students won't be here to give
The
their
students,
statements, right?
someone will be there, I don't know if all the students will be there.
Okay. So then they should come during the day for that part.
They should come, yes.
So let's just repeat that. So during the day on Thursday,
Yes.
March 16th, no, March 12th,
12.
from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Woodlands Middle High School Innovation Lab. The IB Art exhibit is open, the public can come and attend, the students will all be there and will be able to discuss their work. In the evening, from 6 to 7:30 at Woodlands Middle High School, we have a STEAM event. We also have the IB Art Gallery Walk. Some students, so you can go view the exhibit, some students may be there, some students may not be there. That's the difference.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yes. And so lots of good things happening that day.
Okay. No more questions. Are there any liaison reports anyone wants to give?
I mean, a lot of
I know you told
information
yours
that we had
already.
came out.
I know you told yours already. Anyone else? That includes any municipal, yes. Trustee Jacobson?
For Archie Bailey, oh, go ahead, Trustee Warner.
Trustee Warner?
I wanted to go first.
March 9th through 13th, PTA Scholastic Book Fair. March 18th, Kindergarten IB Sharing Assembly at 9:45 a.m. March 19th, report cards available. March 20th, Finner, all schools closed. March 25th and 26th, parent-teacher conferences.
Beautiful, thank you. Is there another liaison report? Hearing, I see hands moving, people moving.
Come on, Aaron, all of this.
Trustee Jacob, we'll go around.
Well,
Trustee
before we
Jacobson?
go, are we
Yes.
highlighting the things that happened last month, or are we just focusing on things that are upcoming, because I know we're short on
You
time?
could do your liaison report anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Jacobson, we're short on time.
So I'm basically gonna focus on the principal coffee that was on March 6th. Their IB teachers came in and discussed the way IB looks at Bailey and for the 6th grade showcase. We also talked about parent-teacher conferences, which are coming up. There was a request to have more time with teachers who are team teaching, so that you're covering 2 subjects, not just in 10 minutes. We went over trips, and there are trips planned for all 3 grades. We did ask about the dance, and we got some conflicting information that we're not quite sure what that looks like for 6th grade. They talked, and then they're also going to have the Woodlands, the Bailey drama students come to Woodlands also on Thursday night to have dinner and meet with the cast and crew of the Woodlands Drama Club to learn about what they do and have a kind of powwow together, which should be really nice. And then the students will get to watch the dress rehearsal.
Also, when you talk about parent-teacher, I brought up, so I'll bring it up here, that when Bailey and Woodland are scheduled together on the
Yes.
same night, it can be very difficult for parents. And parents, Woodland, you know, there's only that 3-hour block in the evening for both RJ Bailey and Woodlands.
4 schools.
That, what?
All 4 schools this year.
Right, so we need to look at that. You know, the calendar will be approved by the board, but then the district has to look at planning and scheduling all of those dates. And if we only have one evening available, to have 2 schools or more on that night is not fair to parents that have multiple kids in different buildings.
I think the only other thing is I had actually requested, if it was possible, to do a survey of the 5th grade parents, because they are the only cohort that had, was it departmentalized teaching last year and team teaching this year, to see if that switch, what that meant. Like, was that a positive shift or not? So we'll see if that is a thing that we can do.
Trustee Long, thank you.
For Highview, I will look forward only. The book fair is coming up next week, March 16th through the 19th. And they request that though cash will be accepted, they really encourage e-wallets for students, and that there was a notice sent out with links to setting them up. They are still searching for volunteers for that also. They have again contracted with Arts Westchester, and this year the 2nd graders will be working on a Black History Month mural, and the 3rd graders will be working on a Women's History Month mural. Let's see, that was last week, Law Enforcement Day. And this week, IB evaluations are happening on Monday and Tuesday. That was today. And March 13th is the rescheduled date for the 3rd grade Black History Month Wax Museum. And family members are welcome to attend that. That's from 1:45 to 2:45 on Friday, March 13th. And that's it.
Thank you. Trustee Valen?
I'm
No?
doing a whiz.
Trustee, okay.
Very briefly, I will state that in February, Dr. Chisholm and I attended the legislator meetings to advocate for budget, for help in the budget and in different resolutions that are before the state legislature. I will type up my summary and put it in the board packet this week or next week. I will also be sharing with the board some of the other background information on advocacy that's happening at the WISBA and Lower Hudson Educational Coalition level. So that's it.
Thank you. Trustee Sample-Ohio, do you have anything to add?
True things, that we're going to have a lunar celebration assembly on March 23rd. And this was nice to read. It's very student specific, but we do have a student who is competing in the junior division championship of the world championships, which is Olympic level. Emily in Taekwondo, she's earned no spots through winning certain matches, so she will be part of that. Cool.
She would kick somebody's hiney.
Well, she could be, she would be the coordinator, the security coordinator.
She could be the security coordinator. She's pretty dangerous. Okay. Yes.
Do you have the date for the traveling Lunar New Year show, or is that just for the Woodlands?
I believe that this one is for Woodlands. I don't believe it's a traveling one, but I can go back to you.
Did you say a time? I'm sorry.
Yeah, in the past
The
they have
23rd.
traveled.
No, I didn't say it.
Okay.
And this, I think it's Woodland specific, because it was, Mr. Smith.
They both got rescheduled and I wasn't sure.
March 24th.
24th, thank
Yeah.
Okay, trustee Alon. I keep doing that, trustee Mans. I think A is on your thing,
So we got ECP. Last month, students visited LaFell School where they participated in Purim celebration, which strengthened connections between the school and community. To connect with world history and tradition, students got to virtually visit Morocco and Egypt. They got to create Egyptian masks, West African masks, and construct pyramids. Next to look forward to is a student trip to the Greenberg Public Library and more engagement with STEM opportunities. So, exciting times at ECP. Question now. I'm trying to look for this email. Aren't we doing, there's a Chick-fil-A and a cock.
Yes.
Is that coming from?
I believe
I know.
it's in
I didn't hear
Mr.
anyone say
Smith's
that.
newsletter, it was
There
yesterday and today, I think.
Oh.
That's the one, Ms. Officer.
Yeah. Was it expired already?
No, I didn't.
No, it's coming.
I saw it somewhere.
I thought it was yesterday.
Social media?
Today?
I saw it.
And then when we walk out of this room, it'll be a flyer.
It's
on the wall.
today.
It was today.
It was
Okay.
today.
But I feel
Was it
like
on
it's
social
today.
media?
I feel like it's
Yesterday and
I saw it
today,
somewhere.
today.
Did you send it?
9 and 10. That's what I remember vividly
All right,
seeing.
okay.
Did I
Hope
look
it
at
went
this
well.
one?
I was trying, I know, I was
I
trying to
will
shout it
find
out.
it after the fact, but
Maybe
I'm
that's
pretty
why we
sure that
forgot
was
it.
it.
Okay. Well, my report for ECP is finished.
Okay, great. Next we have board discussion. It's 8:53. Are you okay?
I asked her if I could use those for tomorrow night, the extra copies, I apologize.
It's 8:53. We talked about, the board talked about solar panels, budget, music, art offerings. Is there any other discussion that the board members would like to have at this time? Hearing none, let's get a motion for executive session, please.
I move that we adjourn for executive session.
Second. It's been properly moved in second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Any opposed?
Oh, sorry.
I don't know what they are.
So, I'm sorry for asking for a
Make
call.
proposed pending court litigation.
You didn't make the motion, I'm sorry.
Trustee
Trustee Warner, Trustee Warner,
Mrs. Wild.
Trustee Warner, you cannot amend someone else's motion. Trustee Alon, would you like to amend your motion?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
I don't have the list though.
Okay.
Hang on. Oh, you got the list?
You want to make your second?
No, I don't think
I
I
know,
sent my second
I
first.
just checked.
I don't know.
She checked some for you.
I will, in case I need
Trustees, there's a motion on the floor?
I'd like to amend my motion
Sure.
to include, executive session to discuss information relating to proposed pending or current litigation, collective bargaining negotiations pursuant to Article 14 of Civil Service Law, the employment history of particular persons, personnel matters and/or employee records, and matters deemed confidential by state or federal law, including seeking advice from counsel.
It's been properly moved now and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carried. 8:55, we're now going into executive session. Thank you. And we are back from the executive session with my word. Let's see, I can't find it.
Change G2, all references to director should be changed to coordinator.
We will take care of that, thank you. All right, we have returned from the executive session and we have our work session approvals. First item on the agenda is F1 personnel instructional items. Can I get a motion, please?
I move that we approve the instructional personnel items presented to the board for approval this evening with the exception of G2.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Is there another motion?
I'll see if I do it correctly. I move that, regarding G2, that we modify the title from summer director to summer coordinator.
And adopt.
And adopted.
And,
As amended, just
Yeah,
tell me.
and
As
reference in the
amended. As
motion.
amended. Adopted as amended.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Do we feel any need to read the new phrases or?
Sure. The appointment of Joseph Wooten as a summer coordinator. Be it resolved as recommended by the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the appointment of Joseph Wooten to serve as coordinator of the 2026 K-12 Summer Enrichment Program effective March 11, 2026, ending August 21st, 2026, at a stipend not to exceed $12,000. Jay Wooten is certified as a school district leader, which qualifies them to serve in the schools of New York State. Note, the said cost not to exceed $12,000, which will be paid from the general fund and grant funded through Title I. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Item F2, personnel non-instructional items.
I move that we approve the non-instructional personnel items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item F3, board action items.
I move that we approve the board action items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item F4, business items.
I move that we approve the business items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item F5, pupil personnel services items.
I move that we approve the pupil personnel services items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Trustees, please turn to item L1 for review agendas for next meeting. L1 is our minutes. L2 is our policy approvals. There's several policies there. 1620, 3311, 5572, 6214, 7220, 7221, 7222, 7223, and 7225. Trustee Allen.
Just a reminder that these policies, some of which are still actively being edited by administration, specifically 7221, participation in graduation ceremonies and activities, 7223, makeup credit programs for high school students, and 7225, advanced coursework. If any board members or public members has comments or questions about these policies as currently published on board docs and the featured items, please email board@greenbergcsd.org or discuss now.
So they're still being amended?
Yes,
Okay,
they
all
may
right.
be different by the time they're put up for approval at the March 25th meeting. At that time, we can either approve them as presented, edit them during the voting item, or request to table one or all policies.
Got it.
Dr. Chisholm, for 7/2/21, I can barely read it right now. Do you know off the top of your head if there's been any revisions to the document?
We did do revisions for all three of those documents. They are on my desk from the team that went through and revised that. And what I will say is, yes, so I have to review those revisions that were made to those policies.
So then I'm gonna follow up and request that if those revisions could be given to our district clerk as soon as possible, so she can redline and we can have the opportunity to review those. That would be fantastic.
Okay. L3, bid science lab renovations at Woodlands Middle High School.
Yep.
You have a comment?
Yep. Looking at the resolution, I have the tabulation sheet, and some of my math doesn't match some of the math listed on this resolution. So Dr. Chisholm, if you could have your team review that. I'll also note, there's a tiny spelling error in there. But I'll also, thirdly, I'll say that not only does my math not add up for the third one listed specifically, but the math shown here references base bid, but the totals for 2 of them also include all the alternate bids. So I want to understand what it is we're actually accepting.
Okay.
Are we accepting the base and the alternates? And the total should reflect correctly the math on that.
Okay.
That's it for now. It would also be great if we could get the original RFPs attached to this agenda, to this agenda item. That would be helpful. Instead of just the tabulation.
Is that for Ms. Pineda?
Yes, sorry, I was looking at Ms. Pineda and she
Yeah.
nodded, so.
Yes.
Does it make sense to attach the RFP for the
To the-
plumbing also?
Yeah.
That's not,
Well, the RFP, although the acceptance isn't here because the bid process wasn't completed, but sure, it could also be in the packet.
I was just thinking, even though it's not in this mix, the RFP is part of the whole project for the plumbing?
You're pretty much, if you make it a policy to put the RFP in there, you're pretty much guaranteed you'll have access to it later when you need it.
Yep. Yes, Dave,
What
what
are
are
you
you
so
so
tragic?
Most of it's in the task list to be put in the packet. Okay, let's keep going.
Hold on, trustee Bowden, are your numbers coming in higher than here or lower?
There is one item that is coming in higher, I believe.
Or yours, okay.
Yeah, when I do my math.
So if yours, never mind.
I'll show,
I'll review again.
Okay.
it'll be,
I'll review it this time.
it'll be correct by the time it gets to us.
Because these are amounts coming right off the RFP, right?
They're coming off of the bid tabulation sheets, yes.
Right.
But if I, for example, if I were to sit here and total up the bid for general construction,
Yep.
the base bid plus all of the alternates equals A.
Okay.
And that A is correctly reflected here, but this item says base bid. It doesn't say base bid and all alternates. So we should be voting on and accepting what we're actually going to approve and fund,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
The math error is,
Math is a math.
I'm too
So,
truthful.
before
Prisoners,
the
please be
next,
quiet.
so for the, before, this is for next meeting, so.
Yeah.
But it needs to be fixed by
It
then.
does need to be fixed, so we will. Next, L4, notice of the annual budget vote and election. Item L5, designation of chief election inspector. Trustees, we have down. Wait a minute, what happens to the,
The election chairperson is the
cut off?
trustee.
oh, what? Oh,
Election chairperson is the trustee, it's
thank
me.
you, I'm sorry. Well, it's you first and it's trustee Long secondary. So I don't know if trustee Long knows the responsibility that goes along with that. You have to be available to be here at 7 a.m. in the event that trustee Warner does not make it. And,
Fine with that.
yes, and,
You go up and you watch them while they're totaling up the votes for each of the voting machines and tallying up the totals. And then you walk up to the front of the group of people who watch the election and you announce the totals.
All right.
ooh,
About 5 minutes before the polls close, you're supposed to yell out the door that the polls are closing, get in here. It's nice if you show up early before that when the polls open and make sure that they open.
not
It's
tonight,
it's
you're
fun. And
supposed to.
sometimes I go in at about noon time and kind of see how the vote total is going, but that's not required.
Well, when it's not midnight, I'll sit down with you and I'll jot some numbers.
It's not midnight.
Thank you.
It's like 1 o'clock. It's not 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Looking at 4 hours of sleep.
Thank you, David.
Yes, so trustees, whoever is the president normally does that, and the vice
Right.
president is normally the backup, but this year the president is up for election, so they can't do it. And the vice president
Will be coming back in town that
is not gonna be here,
afternoon.
that's right. So,
Gotcha.
all right, so let's move on. Appointment of election inspectors. L8 is treasurer's report. L9 is the warrant report. L10 is an agreement for multifunction devices.
Thank you for putting it on here.
L11 is donation for Hartsville Greenberg Rotary Club.
Thank you, Jeanette.
L12 is non-resident tuition rate. L13 is health services, yes? Which one, 12?
11,
11,
the
okay.
donation, not regarding the donation, but because of what it is, do we have a policy for AEDs in the schools, or do we need to address that?
We have a policy talking about AEDs, yes, I don't know what it is off the top of my head. Is there a specific question that you want verified in the policy? Sorry to be answering,
Let her ask a question.
Yes, because, just to make sure that we have a policy on use of them.
Use of
and,
them.
I'm not sure what else it would contain, but, yeah.
It's also a part of the cardiac emergency response plan that we updated and resubmitted to the state as part of the building safety plans and the district safety plan.
This is L12, non-resident tuition rate. L13, health services contract, Dodge Ferry Unit 3 School District. And that's it. M1, new business? No. M2, adjournment. Can I get a motion?
I move that we
Move to
adjourn
adjourn
the
this
meeting.
meeting.
Second.
This is properly moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. We adjourn 1:05 a.m.
Good night, David.
Night.
Night. Feel better.
5682.